Welcome to day number 6. This is the Saturday session. Today we're doing a double session. So this morning we've got 4 pieces to get through. First one starts off with the accessory, so easing in a little bit today. 12 alternating minutes, 3 reps each side of a paused ATG split squat. So this is where your knee is tracking quite far forward over your toe. I started with alternating each leg for the 3 reps, but in the later sets I do all 3 reps on the one leg before swapping to the other. And the second minute we do a SOTS press. So this is in a squat position, bar behind the head, and then press up as like a strict press behind the neck. Bit sticky on this first set, getting the balance and the positioning right. But as the sets go on and the body warms up and gets more mobile, they get a little bit smoother, and I end up doing 5 reps for the remaining sets. I think I do 3 for the first couple though. So unlike most of the other days this week, the accessory is usually the last piece of each session. Every now and then it will be the first one. And in today's case, I think it was a good piece to do first, as it gets the body primed for the workouts and lifting pieces to come. After this, we go into some snatching, which getting the body into that deep squat with the overhead press, and also working on this flexion of the knee joint and the ankle joint helps with just getting into position a bit better. I'm feeling more comfortable and more confident with the heavier weights. And then with the single leg squats in the later workout too, those first split squats are really good to warm that up. So today's lifting session is 5 sets, rest 2 minutes between, number of squat snatches plus a snatch balance. First set, 2 squat snatches plus the 1 snatch balance, 7.5 RPE, 90 kilos. All the lifts are based off of RPE, so for the day I felt a little bit better than I did in the previous lifting session yesterday. The weights I chose were purely off what I thought I could do today. After warming up, 90 kilos was a good starting point. And then I jumped up for this second set to 100 kilos for 1 rep on the squat snatch plus snatch balance. A little bit unsteady there, but the weight still went up okay. On this next set, I stayed with 100 kilos, being that it was 2 squat snatches and slightly higher RPE. However, I did miss the first rep, and then it took a bit of time to reset, and then missed a second rep. So it took a little longer this time just to reset, let the body recover, and hopefully hit it this third attempt. But no, it didn't happen. So I dropped the weight after missing 3 in a row down to 95 kilos, which is still not too different, but it's just not so much that I couldn't do the weight and don't have the strength to do the weight at 100, as in I did it in the previous set for 1 rep, and usually I'd be able to get a couple reps out. But missing that 95 on this first bar as well was a little bit frustrating at this point. But we then start to get back into rhythm here, little bit more aggressive, a little bit of frustration taken out into the bar. It probably helped me get that first rep. And then second rep, made sure I hit that and it was a little smoother. And then finishing with the snatch balance here. So that set was a little rough, but we got through it. So now I jump up to 105 kilos for the remaining 2 sets. Just 1 rep of each movement here. And hit that one first go. So the strength is there to do the 100. Just wasn't there for those sets, which is the case with weightlifting sometimes. You miss a few, body doesn't fire right, position's a bit off, your timing, whatever it may be. But just modify it and still get through your session and don't dwell on it too much. It's easy to do and get frustrated. Missing another one there on that final set, but just give myself a minute and reset and go again, knowing that I just hit that weight before and can do it again. So there we go, final set. Finishing up with the squat snatch strength work. Now on to the next piece, which is a interval workout. We've got 2 minutes of work, 2 minutes of rest for 5 sets. It's an AMRAP of 12 pistol squats and 3 power snatches with 84 kilos. Now, my pistol squats are pretty decent in terms of my squatting abilities, being that it's a bodyweight movement, requires a fair few more skills like balance, coordination, mobility than just a straight up strength squat. However, my power snatch power was not existent in today's session. The squat snatch, I can get under the bar and pull myself under it, but just hoisting the bar high just wasn't there, particularly on this day. Lower back was a little bit fatigued and a bit slow, but I still managed to get through at least 2 full rounds of this couplet each AMRAP. This first set, just a few more reps than the 2 rounds, and then for the second to 5th set, it's the exact same amount of reps every time. I get 2 full rounds, finishing on the squats, the power snatches. This workout, I probably could have scaled the weight on the bar by maybe 5 kilos or so today. I think that would have helped with hitting a little bit more of the stimulus, pushing into that 3rd round, potentially even getting through a full 3rd round, being that my breaks on each snatch here are a little significant. I'd like to be able to just do them pretty consecutively, finishing all 3 within 15 seconds, but doing one, dropping the bar and walking away and looking at it for a second or two, and then walking back up, and then, it's a whole process. It's probably taking me 30 to 40 seconds to do 3 snatches each round, which I think was losing a little bit of the intent of this workout, but a little bit of the pride and ego wanted me to do this with the weight, just to see how I could go if I have to actually do this in competition. So there's 2 ways to look at it, and I chose to just go with the full weight and try to hold on and just do it as best I could on the day. But even then, as you'll see on this next set, I'm just missing power snatches, even in the first rep, which is frustrating in the workout and is what made me think I should probably have dropped the weight a little bit. But it's good to practice this stuff because it does happen in competition, and you got to be able to deal with it and move on, not get caught up with what ifs or, I could have, workout's over now. Like, just move on and do your next rep and deal with it later, or forget about it, really. on to the final piece for this morning's session. We've got every 5 minutes for 4 sets, a 300-meter ski, 200-foot sandbag bear hug carry with a 150-pound or 68-kilo sandbag, and then a 100-foot handstand walk. Now, on paper, I looked at this workout and thought I could really attack it pretty hard. These are good movements for me. Skis are probably my best machine. Sandbag bear hug carries, I can breathe pretty fine with just a steady walking and slight power walking cadence. And then handstand walks are one of my best things. So I thought I could push the pace hard on here. And after doing the first set, I realized I probably could have pushed a little bit harder. So each round, I aim to ski just a touch quicker and push the handstand walk a little quicker and the sandbag just a touch, but still feeling it each round after about 1.5 to 2 minutes of work. And then each round taking about 2.5 minutes, which is enough time to recover, being that it's an every 5-minute workout. So it's about a 1-to-1 work to rest ratio, which is perfect for sprint type intervals. Even though it lasts a few minutes, you are pushing pretty hard on each thing with the pace. I wouldn't typically ski at a 140 or below in most workouts, but with this one being so short, each round you can really be quite aggressive with your pacing, knowing if you're comfortable with the other movements that you'll be okay. Like, I can do the handstand walking unbroken, and I have no doubt that I'll not fall down on it. Whereas for others, if they're a bit shaky or unsure about making the full distance, then they may have to throttle back a little bit on the ski pacing and the sandbag, knowing that their breathing needs to be more in control for a skill movement like a handstand walk. But if you're comfortable with it, you may as well try to push hard. I probably could have pushed the sandbag a little bit quicker, but still the effect of just doing the full session and the rest of the week, the body still feels it at times, and the legs were still feeling it on this workout, carrying the sandbag, even though I knew that they weren't really going to be affected on the handstand walk, so they could be a bit sore or a bit fatigued going into this, being upside down, getting the blood back into the upper body, and then recovering for a few minutes between sets. Only 4 sets as well, so pretty good amount to just attack each set without feeling like there's a heap of volume ahead. So we've got session number 2. This is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. This session is my own doing, so I've put together this just off things that I want to work on, things that I'd like to work on, to just have a bit of a fun session, but still working on weak areas. I plan on doing extras on Saturdays and Sundays, as all of the programmed work would be done by a Saturday morning session. So here we're just doing plyometrics, 2 box clears with a broad jump every 30 seconds, and then you just reverse it every other 30 seconds with a broad jump into 2 box clears. So this is not too difficult, just starting off this week with some basic plyo work, and then as weeks go on, I'll progress this to be a little bit more challenging or a little bit more intense, and just varying it up as you should do. Just vary your training, slight adjustments, slight changes, keep the body stimulated, keep everything fresh. Plyo work is good to do before lifting as well. Just primes the body, gets the fast twitch fibers working and firing on all cylinders. Now, obviously, when you're fatigued, that can still be a bit of an issue, but I didn't feel too bad in the second session. Often when I've done a second one, I find that the body's pretty awake. It's already warmed up. It's been worked from the first one. So getting into some lifting work here, some squat strength work, which is a weak area of mine. My top end strength in my squat needs to be built up quite a bit still to keep up with some of these top guys. Just doing every minute and a half, building in weight for a 3-rep squat, back squat. Starting up with 100 kilos, then just making jumps based on how I feel and based on what I think the next weight should go up to. So I went to 110, then 120 with 10 kilo jumps. And then after this, start adding 5 kilos at a time, just until I feel I get to a weight that is heavy for the day. Body is pretty beat up and sore by Saturday afternoon. So just doing what I think is an appropriate weight, not trying to be a hero and push to, a 3-rep max, even though as much as I'd like to be hitting a 3-rep max as regularly as possible, it's just not smart or not the case. You got to respect the body and the training that you're doing, especially considering this is just an extra session. It's not part of the programmed work. So got to be a little bit careful with, going off or doing your own stuff on top of all the programmed work, because that could mean that you're overdoing some things, or just putting your body through an unnecessary amount of stress. However, I do find that I like to do a bit of extra volume. I've always felt that that's worked well for me, and I'd rather be doing a little bit too much than not enough. So that's where this squat session comes in, and I'd like to be able to squat most weekends if I can, knowing that it needs work. And last set here, 140 kilos is where I topped out the weight for the back squat today. Now, after this, I went straight into an every 2 minutes for 5 sets, 5 zombie squats. So I haven't really done these before, but recently learned that these could be beneficial for me, as when the front squat weight gets heavy or my cleans get heavy, I do cave in through my upper back and core. The bar starts to collapse and fold me a bit. So thought I'd give these a go, throw them in every now and then with my squat work. Just figuring out here what sort of weight works. Now, 90 kilos for this first set. I felt like I probably could be going a little heavier. Not much heavier though, as body was fatigued already. And there's squats to do in the coming week on Monday, so didn't want to flog the body too hard and have it still be fatigued for that Monday session coming. Now into the workout for this evening's session, doing a 600-meter run. So I run out of the gym, up a hill, up the street, back down the hill, and repeat that 2 times for the 600. 50 burpee box jump overs with a step down. So for me, this is a movement which came up in the quarterfinals in 2024 with 50 wall balls, 50 burpee box jump overs for 3 rounds. Since then, I've repeated that workout a couple of times and never finished it in the 20-minute time cap. So that's a benchmark workout for me to utilize regularly. And every now and then I try to program a workout which is similar, has a similar stimulus, a time domain, or is working on those specific movements or pairings of movements where they affect one another. So with the run, obviously working the breathing, the legs, the heart rate, and then this is doing the exact same thing, and then just sandwiching them all into a simple couplet workout. My goal here was to just be steady and keep moving on the burpee box jump overs for the 2 sets of 50, and then pushing my last run hard to finish, and then trying to run at a decent enough pace on the first and second one, but conserving just enough that I can still motor through these as quickly as I can, even though it is just a steady cadence for the whole time. But I was pretty happy with this overall. Like I said, it's been a weak movement or a weak type of workout for me in the past, and I think I'm improving a little bit at it. So I would be hoping to see something like this come up in a competition workout so I can really put it to the test in even live competition, not just online. So maybe at the Torian Pro, if they put something like this in, maybe I won't finish up too badly, or maybe I will, but that just means more work to focus on for the next competition. But positive signs for some of these workouts that I've done in recent months compared to past years. And to finish off today's session, I just did a 5-minute EMOM, some gymnastic strength work, 3 to 5 weight vested strict handstand, parallel handstand push-ups. So this is something that probably is specific to my strengths, but I just wanted to touch on just so I can maintain the ability to do some things like this. And if they ever come up in some capacity, then I've got confidence in pushing it and trying to get some sort of an event win if it allows for it. So not something that you'll probably see at any competition except for maybe the CrossFit Games, but on the off chance that I get to do a parallel handstand push-up or weighted handstand push-ups, then I've got full faith in my capabilities to do it. So I got 5 reps on the first minute, 4 reps on the second minute, and then 3 reps for the remaining 3 sets. Just a little bit of fun, this one. Body's obviously had a big session, big week so far, so just doing things like this to keep it fun and not feeling like everything you do is a chore or a weakness work. You got to throw things that are fun in training but can still be effective. So that's what this was for.